Good afternoon, Atlanta. Welcome to WCEG Network, your worldwide community empowerment group. We're here to empower the community. My name is Herman Anderson. My co-host is Anthony Aiken. We are veterans today. Today we have on our as two guests, Veda Brooks of Georgia Department of Veteran Services. We have Reverend McGhee, who is president of Vietnam Veterans of America, Atlanta Chapter 118. I think I got that correct. Uh, uh, and also let me let you know that the topics and opinion of those of this show hosts and guests are not WCEG Network. They are those of the guests. And WCEG is a nonprofit. And our contact information is 404-490-8648. And the option you have to communicate and conversate with us today you can watch us on live stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You can watch us at WCEG Talk Radio, WCEG TV Channel, WCEG Network, www.wcegtalkradio.com. And we are also on YouTube, and we being archived on YouTube. And as we move forward today, I'm going to have Anthony welcome you and introduce himself. Then today, this month happened to be Military Family Appreciation Month. I'm going to give you a short, brief statement on that. Then we'll move on with our regular programming. Good morning, Anthony.
Hey, did you put out a lot of good information? Good seeing you, my brother. How are you? It's so good to be back. And, while you were reading there, I was just thinking and bobbing my head how far we've come. 7 years. 7 years we've been blessed to be together on this show, speaking truth into the community. We've had guests from all over the world, listeners from all over the world to give us great feedback of what we try to do. And that is to bring forward great knowledgeable guests and then information of importance to ensure that veterans and their families get what they've earned. We've served all around the world, been in all kinds of environments, and endured all types of situations. And we were promised a blank check. So when we retired, we had the capabilities of getting whatever issues we had addressed at the Veterans Administrative Hospital. So our guest today, Dr. McGhee, is a Vietnam veteran, hardcore guy, and he understands that ball game to make sure that veterans are taken care of because they earn the right to be taken care of. So again, listeners to around this great world that we call life, we welcome you to WCEG Talk Radio, the family. And Herman, let's get this ball rolling.
We're going to get this ball rolling by stating that May is National Military Appreciation Month for families. May is National Appreciation Month, a commemoration designed by Congress in 1999. Some of the days that are highlighted in May: Memorial Day observed on the last day in Monday, Labor Day observed on May 1. So we miss Loyalty Day, not Labor Day, Loyalty Day on May 1. Victory Day in Europe, May 8. Armed Forces Day, Saturday, Armed Forces Day, Saturday, May 18th. And we are, my organization is having a family, I cookout on May the 18th. Military Spouse Appreciation Day, is Friday before Mother's Day. Those are uh, days that are specified during the month to celebrate military families, and we ask you to celebrate throughout the month, and especially join Veteran Helping Veterans on May 18th at VFW 6449 in Fairburn. We are celebrating Military Appreciation Month.
That's great information, man, because it's great to be able to recognize veterans and their families, and there's so many different things that will be going on. That they can go out and celebrate, and to be recognized for the services that they rendered to this nation. So it's something that's taken very seriously, and I'm very glad that you had to give our listeners a little background on the importance of Military Appreciation Month, to include the family, the wife, the kids, everybody that endured while we were out there being deployed.
Okay, so let's get rolling with Veda. Good afternoon, Veda. How are you? Veda has participated on this program a few times. Veda is a special friend, special expert dealing with military with claims and uh, issues. So just give us a few highlights and tell us, and we'll start talking about the current status of dealing with claims.
We can't hear you.
Thank you so
There
much.
you go.
Thank you so
There you
much
go.
for the introduction. I am Veda Brooks. I am the Women's Veterans Coordinator, Diversity and Inclusion for the state of Georgia. Herman and I go way back from when I used to sit behind a desk and had no title at all. So I appreciate our relationship. I've learned a lot. We've worked together in a lot of different projects. Today, we're going to be talking about the state of claims. So as everyone knows, a lot has changed when you're filing a claim. Most of everything that the VA is doing is paperless. So they are going away from paper and they're doing many things electronic. You're able to go to va.gov and file your own claim. However, I do want to put out that the Georgia Department of Veteran Service and DAV, we are still helping veterans for free file their claims. So there's no charge to you. And the organizations that we represent and DAV are certified VSOs through the VA benefits department. One of the things that I do want to point out, because there are a lot of people out there who are filing claims, if you encounter someone who is filing claims, please ask them for their official license number, because that way you know that they have been vetted through the VA, their fingerprints have been taken, and it really helps protect all of your personal information. Good. So those people who are out there presenting themselves as VSOs, but need you to create a va.gov thing, and they do not have access to the VA system. I'm not saying everyone is scamming, but I do just warn you, if you don't know them, pause, ask yourself a question, make sure it's a reputable organization and not just a really nice guy who comes to McDonald's and says, come see me for a claim. All right? Because while they do have you pay them, they take no responsibilities for any mistakes that they made, which can cost you money and time and only build your frustration. So I do want to put that out, because recently the state of Georgia has our Congress, over at the Capitol, they're coming up with new laws for people who are being predators on our veterans. It's not really our younger veterans that are being preyed upon. It's really our older veterans who can't get out and aren't familiar with the online process, that they are being scammed and taken advantage of. So I just want to warn people that it is happening.
That's very good information to know. Yeah, very good information to know.
Okay, thank you. So the other thing I want to talk about is, how does it work? The truth is, because they have gone electronic, even if you may file your claim here in Georgia, but somebody over in Puerto Rico is actually the one who is taking care of your claim.
Wow.
It is no longer done local. What the VA came up with based on the presentation made by the IT company or whoever it was that developed the program was that everyone, of course, your claim is connected to your claim number. Every claim number would be every claim would be in a folder, and then that folder would essentially live in a cloud. Based on the date that you filed your claim, somebody somewhere in the United States would pull that claim and then process that claim. So when you walk into the Atlanta VA and you're like, hey, I don't understand why you guys made this choice, the Atlanta VA is going to pull it up and go, well, we didn't make that choice, because it's no longer taken care of locally. It is taken care of whoever picks it up. Also, when you're looking at your va.gov, that is not the same system that the VA or accredited service officers use. So it sometimes is very difficult for us to answer those questions. And when you call and you say, well, they say they need more evidence. And so then you send in more evidence based on va.gov. If they weren't talking to you, because you can't tell if they're talking internally or externally, that really slows up your claim. So if you're using someone else to file your claim, please contact them before you turn in paperwork.
Let me ask you. So when I've had this happen, I look at my status on va.gov, and I call a service officer who has another system. And like I say, the dates are not, and the information, the status is not the same.
This is correct. It is not the same.
Yeah.
And so it's a disservice. In some ways, that's a disservice, because you're looking at needs more evidence, waiting on something to come in. And so the veteran will send in more stuff thinking that's a message to them, when it could be a message to someone within the VA. Here is the issue with that. Each time a veteran turns in evidence, they have to actually pause processing your claim for 30 to 60 days to make sure that the evidence you turned in is new and relevant evidence. If it is, then they have to reprocess your claim. But if it's not, then they just move forward. But they've still waited the 60 days, which is your due process, to get new information to be considered in the claim. But if you never should have turned anything in, it sets you back. So when I hear from veterans, I've been turning in, every time they send me a message or say they need something, I've been turning that in, and it's taken forever. And that's because the due process gives them 60 days. Now let's be honest, it could take one person one day to check to see if that information is already in there. But because you have 60 days, the people whose claim was in before yours isn't due for 60 days. So they can wait until the 59th day, help other people around you to that 59th day, and then pull your folder back and then verify. So
just let me make a quick point about that and communicating with your service officer. So if I get a notice in the mail before I the next day send something back, I should contact my service officer and verify we're on the same page, right?
Yes, please contact your service officer.
Yes.
And
Yeah, all the time.
sometimes your service officer will actually be reviewing files, and what the VA is asking for, they may have already sent a response. And so, yes, so you definitely want to go back to who is ever helping you and verify that you actually need to respond. And so I will say that pension and military sexual trauma, they are contained to two separate regional offices. They only do pension and they only do military sexual trauma.
Yeah, that's what we found out. That's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The downfall
Information
to
you've been
that, though.
providing is just accurate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, keep going. I'm sorry.
That's okay. The downfall to that, though, is from a VSO perspective, they didn't pull all of the people who were doing military sexual trauma and assign them to that regional office, or all of the people who had been doing pension previously, who had all the years, and then assign them to that regional office, which would have made sense. So the people who were assigned pension at the Atlanta VA office, regional office, it could have been, should have been, we believe that we are of the thought of mind that those RVSRs who have been doing pension for the last 15 years should have been assigned to that regional office. They didn't necessarily have to move, but they should have been assigned to that regional office, since everything is, electronic,
Yeah.
which would have left your experience
Yes.
in those departments. But the VA had a different idea. They decided to hire. And so the idea was great, but the experience was missing, because you train people, and so they're starting from the beginning, as opposed to using your seasoned people who had already been doing it inside of all the various VA regional offices. So there is kind of a slowdown.
Yeah.
When you're brand new, you don't know.
Yeah.
And worse than that, when you're brand new, you're too young to really understand that Vietnam veterans, they didn't have electronic medical records. You're asking them, well, where's the proof that you were shot other than the scar? And they're asking you, what did you think happened? They wrote it on my bandage and sent me out to get help. There is no paperwork. Because the only thing they wanted to know was, can he go back? We removed the bullet. Can he go back and fight, or do we need to send him home? There's no paperwork. So
no paperwork. No paperwork.
Right. So what the regulations is looking for right now does not apply to our Vietnam veterans. It wasn't there. You understand what I mean? And so it's difficult sometimes to get people who are in their 30s to understand that what you are dealing with as the norm, because I'm old enough to know I was born before the internet. So I still write letters and I can write in cursive. Some of these people are thinking, well, if I can't find it on Google, it must not have happened. And that's not reality. So we just really have to continue to advocate. And when I'm talking about Vietnam veterans, one of the other things that people don't realize is they're walking around going to these vet centers and they're feeling very empowered, like they've done something wonderful. But had it not been for the Vietnam veterans, the vet centers wouldn't even be available to help you and your family members process the trauma that both veterans and the family members experience. So as Herman was talking about, he's absolutely right. This is the month of the family, and we are not, as a whole, grasping the fact that we have 12-year-olds now who are caregivers. We have we have adult children who are caregivers for Vietnam, the Korean War, and we're not marketing or teaching them so that they don't go broke trying to figure out what their parents are entitled to. And we have to bring in the family. We're doing our veterans a disservice by not educating the family so that everybody isn't broke trying to keep the veteran with the right medical or housing situations. So we do, as all of us, all of our national organizations and Georgia Department of Veteran Service as well, we are really trying to push to educate family so that our veterans, as they get older, are not, you know, barely getting by or bankrupting their adult children's trying to get health care. But it's just a means
Yeah.
of let's apply, but nobody knows what they're applying for, because we do a really, the VA they don't do a great job of advertising what they do in those platforms where people are. If you're on the internet, you get it. But if you're a Korean veteran or a Vietnam veteran, you may not be strolling Facebook, right? So
Right.
we have to advertise. We have to make sure they are aware.
Let me ask you a couple of technical issues. For an example, uh, a certified VSO service officer, and he or she identified that you need a nexus letter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how do you suggest going by approaching that issue of getting a nexus letter that's valid and legal and all that?
Okay,
Mhm.
so here's the thing. I always start with the primary doctor or the specialty doctor. What people don't understand, this is what you need to ask for. You need to go in and you say, you've been treating me for my drop foot for years now. I need something in my medical records, or I need you to write me a letter stating that, that I am being treated for this drop foot, when you started treating me, and that you contribute my drop foot to the sciatic nerve I have because of my degenerative arthritis of the spine. And so a lot of times they'll tell you, well, I can't give you a letter. Well, sometimes they tell you, oh, it's against the rules for me to get a letter. That's not true.
Yeah, that's not
That's
true.
not true.
No.
A lot of times what it is that they only get like 45 minutes with you, and 15 minutes belongs to the nurse. So in those 30 minutes, while you're trying to get them to write letters, they're like, we can't do all that. So what you need to do is say, if you don't write me a letter, I am asking that you put this in my notes. But because we don't have to have a nexus letter, everybody wants a nexus letter. They are phenomenal, right? But you don't need to be paying $150 for a nexus letter. You just need to make sure your doctor puts the information in your medical records.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then you let your VSO know, I went to the doctor on May 3rd, 2024. I spoke with my doctor, and he says all the information you need are in those notes from that day. And
Right.
that can be used.
Mm.
And the other item I I would like to mention that the Georgia Department of Veteran Services has offices throughout Georgia. Do you by any chance know the number? But it now
So
what's is good news to me is I think the availability of help for claim has gotten better.
thank
Yeah.
you. We appreciate that. We've been working really hard to do better customer service and to be available. So currently right now we have 53 um, offices. By the
Mhm.
end of June, we should have 56 offices. We each time a new clinic, a VA clinic or a hospital opens up in the state of Georgia, it is our commissioner's it is her goal to make sure that the Georgia Department of Veteran Service has an office there so that you can both go and get your medical and your benefits claims taken care of. We are also partnering up with county and the driver's license, where you get your driver's license in your county. We also want to be present there. just so that we are kind of a little bit of everywhere so that we can reach you in all of the areas. So we are spreading out. We are doing more. We are also on 2 bases right now. We are also on Fort Moore and Fort Stewart. And I believe it's still called Fort Stewart. So yeah, so we are on Fort Moore and Fort Stewart. And the goal is to, by July, to be on Fort Eisenhower and that's Fort Benning, right? And then there's another location.
Fort Benning is Fort Moore.
Fort Benning is Fort Moore. Fort Augusta. Where's Augusta? What's that one? That's Eisenhower, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, they changed names. And
yeah, they did.
Fort Gordon. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so so we are very excited to be available. We're also now participating in TAP to make sure that veterans that before they get out, they understand where to go to for help. And we are also we are also partnering with family services on base so that we can make sure that the spouses and also know the benefits and how to take care of the veteran before they exit.
Yeah, yeah. Military Appreciation Month. Great.
Are the CBOCs also involved in community care?
Yes, CBOCs are involved in community care, and in all of the CBOCs that are in Georgia, we now have official, unofficial written agreement that the VA will give us space there. You know how that goes. Yeah. So we're doing
Is that going to be throughout the state of Georgia or just here in Atlanta?
No, throughout the state of Georgia.
Throughout the state.
Yes.
That's great news. Yeah, that's great news. So you have a VA in Dublin and Atlanta. Yes. So that's good news. That's good news. By the way, how many VA hospitals are there in the state of Georgia? Are there just 2?
So how many VA hospitals are in Georgia?
Hospital.
Yeah, so we have the Atlanta, we have Augusta, we have Dublin.
And so 3.
3. And then Alabama, Tuskegee is part of Vision 7. And the one in Florida, right near Savannah, that's also part of Vision 7. So even though it's a different state, it services the Georgia veterans. And then there's one near Tennessee. So there is a CBOC in Tennessee, but it will refer to the VA hospital closest to the Tennessee border.
Correct.
But they all fall under our Vision 7 director.
Right. Okay. Who is the director now? Who is the director?
You tell the audience what CBOC is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that is the community.
I couldn't think of community.
Basic.
Can you remember?
It's our clinics.
Yeah, they are community clinics.
Yeah, it is our VA. You used to have a VA clinic, but now they call them CBOCs because what they have done is they have incorporated not only healthcare, but you can also get mental health care. And every veteran is now assigned a social worker. So if you are a veteran and you're enrolled in VA healthcare, you have a social worker, and that social worker is in your local CBOC, and they will help you with housing, food insecurity, and all those other things. So they changed the name to reflect that they are doing more than just care, physical care.
Very, very good.
That was great information. Great information. Great information. Great information. I was just at the VA 3 times this week for myself, patient, and each time I would go on the first floor. I always go by that office, the veterans office, just to say hello and find out what's going on and hear some of the concerns.
Yes.
That veterans may have. It's always full. As a matter of fact, when I was being taken by an Uber driver, I told the Uber driver that everyone that walks through that door has an issue. And the VA needs to make sure that that soldier, male or female, is taken care of. And I love to see the sign behind you, sexual assault. your voice, is always going to be there and can't go.
Yeah.
Can't go
Well,
away. And that's been going on for a number of years. So,
but I will tell
very good
you,
to see that.
But I will tell you, and I appreciate you recognizing that, but I want you to know that this sign also means that everyone's voice has power. So you don't have to be an MST survivor for your voice to have power. But what we do want you to know is that if you are encountering a doctor that is not listening to you, or you feel disrespected, if you don't make a formal complaint, that doctor will continue to give bad service.
Correct.
Right.
Totally
agree. So you're angry that they still hired him, but if nobody is complaining, they don't know that he or she is not doing what they need to do. So please use your voice. If it's going too slow, if you're not getting the care you deserve, if you're being disrespected when you walk in the office, let someone know, because that's why we're here. Our job is not to simply be the Georgia Department of Veterans Service as a figurehead. Our job is to advocate for the veterans in Georgia so they receive the services, not that they are entitled to, but that they earned. You earn these with your service. So they only have a job because we come see them. So remember that this is your VA. Well,
thank you. Yep. And you're quite welcome to stay on. We'll bring Reverend McGhee on if you're available.
I have one more thing to say. Community-based outpatient clinics. Woo! That is your CBOC. I have enjoyed you so much. Thank you again for having me. I will be leaving another meeting, but as always, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing, and your service to veterans is priceless. So thank you guys for what you do.
You're quite welcome.
Love your passion. Love your passion. Love your passion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And while we have a good afternoon and a good Friday, and before you leave, let me tell you about my event tomorrow at Fort McPherson on a quarterly basis. We have an event at Fort McPherson where we provide food and toiletries to the veterans in the domiciliary. Tomorrow from 10 to 2 a.m. we are having our second quarter event. It's the Fort McPherson, 788 Hardy Avenue Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 303-310. And the point of contact is Bridget, and the number is 678-358-8784.
All right, I'm not prepared to be there tomorrow, but on that next quarter, give me a little heads up, and I will be there, and I will bring gifts because you're important.
Thank you.
I want to support you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. Pastor McGhee's next. Our guy.
I'm trying to change. Yes, I'm gonna try to change devices. I'm on a computer now that the video is not working. So give me about 60 seconds, and I'll be on another device. Just give me about 60 seconds. Okay.
Okay. Good news. Glad you make it.
Brother Anthony, while he's doing that, continuing my May families events. As I mentioned earlier, on May 18th, we are having a cookout. We're having food and music and family. It's a family event again. The time is 11 to 3, and it's the location is the VFW 6449 in Fairburn.
Right. Right.
To our audience,
I was so happy to hear her talk about. I'm sorry, Herman. Go on.
To our audience, the Contact number is 540-556-4667. Joanne Lester is our contact. We'd love to have you
There he
there.
is.
Is he in?
Yeah, he's in. There he is. How you doing there, veteran?
I'm blessed, brother. I'm just glad to be back with you guys. Since I last was on the show, I've been through some major medical
Right.
surgeries and going through some stuff, man, that just comes with old age and being a veteran that was exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam. We are seeing some. I was listening at the young lady, and I was impressed that we do have people in the Georgia Department of Veteran Services. But it's one of the entities that I have been lobbying for with Brian Kemp. First of all, they're underpaid, so you can't expect them to be as effective as they could be if they were getting more money. Actually, the last time I was at one of their training facilities, this has been a few years ago, they were making income-wise less than 100% veteran. Yes. So just think about that. But anyway, I'm glad to be back talking to you guys. It's trying to do the same thing that we're trying to do, get good information out to the community and getting them the assistance that they need to get their benefits. I was listening at her and she was kind of joking about the Vietnam era, but the truth of the matter is they had 201 files during Vietnam, and that's what all of your information is. You know, you can't just look to the DD-214. You got to look on your 201 file. It basically will tell you all of your military experiences. Now, one of the things that happened is happening with the VA. They're digitizing those files that was not digitized during the era, and they're losing information in the transfer. Because the people that's digitizing them, they're just professionals. They don't have any passion for the information that they're trying to transfer. So they're losing a lot of information at VA. So it's not just it's just the system making this change. And the other part
just a quick, Reverend McGhee, just a quick point on that is in our other organization, the young man that has the app is that app with that technology. Certain medical people are able to go in and get it.
That's
so really
it's vet code.
So really, there's a kind of a loop in a link missing that a lot of us don't know about it. And so if you don't know about it, you can't ask about it.
Yeah, brother Dwayne Rawson has created this app. He's a young veteran that's military retiree, and he's now working with Vietnam Veterans of America. And he's making this app. We want to make this app available to all veterans, and I think every veteran should have this app. But the problem with is that we got to get it out to veterans. But I'm afraid that a lot of them will need help learning how to navigate the app too. But it has all the information, and it's one of the things that I recommend when filing claims. You do your homework before you file a claim. Really, if you do your homework before you file a claim, you're basically gonna win. Now, because you're filing a well-grounded claim. But once it gets to VA, it's in a whole nother world, and it depends on who gets your claim, because you got some of the most incompetent evaluators and adjusters at VA than they ever had. And since I've been filing claims, and I started filing claims in 1975. So that's been a while back. And it has gotten worse with the new system, because now, rather than a veteran being able to write his claim on a piece of paper and get it processed, if you don't put it on the right form, they won't process it. They won't even start your claim. So we need to make sure that this information is gotten out into the community, and we're getting competent claim filers. I don't care what you call them, national service officers, lawyers, agents, but you know, we're getting a lot of people filing bad claims. That's the way it is. They're not taking time to put the claim together before they file it, and that's one of the issues. But I want to thank you and Brother Atkinson, Herman, for keeping the show going, keeping this voice going for veterans, because see, you're making it better for some, you know, and hopefully, I tell all of my guys and all of my contacts, tell another veteran what you got. You know, if you get some good information from somewhere, tell another veteran about it. You know, because right now, one of the worst things in our community is that you're getting veterans that don't even know how to file for an increase, file for service connection, because the system has changed so much, and they'll try to approach the VA, and if you don't put it on the right form, they're kicking it back. They just kicking it back to you. So what we need to make sure that we are putting out information that get to these claim filers, you know, because right now you got, the sister was talking about, be careful about the claims, but you know, the claims filer, yeah, you got a few crooks in the play, but you got more crooks in the VA, you know, so I'm concerned with that part of it, you know. I mean, because see, Herman, no, we don't charge the file no claims, so we're not in that category. But when we get the claims to the VA, we got people in the VA that need to be checked. You know, these folks, it's awful. I think about your claim, Brother Atkinson. You know, I mean, that was one of the claims that I went down on right before I went to surgery. But I did some research on your stuff, and if any competent individual had been filing the claim, it would have been no way you would have been denied.
Correct.
It would have been no way you could have been denied. But the VA should, the duty to assist and the duty to notify, they don't do none of that to us. Now, I'm going to tell you a little experience I had recently when they moved me from unemployability. I've been on unemployability for 20 years. Now, you know that's crazy. But finally, VA moved me from unemployability to 100% total and permanent straight. And the way they did it, I was wounded in 1968, right? There was no TBI, no such thing as a traumatic brain injury at that time. In 2022, they granted me TBI. and I didn't even ask for it. They was practicing that duty to assist. It was in my records that I had head wounds in Vietnam, and I had been treated for headaches at the VA. So the claimant that was doing my heart, ischemic heart, saw this stuff, gave me 40% for the TBI. But guess what they did? They did a combined rating with the PTSD that I got in 1984. You know, so it didn't move the PTSD. They didn't try to determine whether it moved the PTSD. See, this is what I'm saying. When you get claims at the VA, we need competent evaluators at the VA. Now, what I'm doing right now is trying to rally at least 2 other organizations to go with me. I'm gonna get a meeting with Senator Offsall. Now, the young lady was talking about the vet centers. I was one of those veterans that got opportunity to go to Congress and help set the law in place to get the vet centers up across the nation. So I'm proud of what the vet centers did and is doing, because it has been a safety net for a lot of veterans that just wasn't getting it at the VA. They have a different attitude when you are going to the vet centers about helping you. You know, they have a completely different attitude than you're gonna meet at the VA. So I'm still proud of that work of the vet center. But we need more. We need more. We need more, because see, what is happening now that wasn't happening on the level that it is now. Right this minute, as we speak, 17 to 22 veterans are committing suicide a day. That's every day.
Every day.
Let me add something that fits into the whole VA culture, as me and Auntie always talked about. I was told last month at the turnover rate at the VA in in processing claims is over 200 a month. So
Wow.
you got people walking out the door over 200 a month, and there's a number that the person gave me. You got people that dealing with your claim with a less than a year experience.
But see, the other part about this we didn't understand. They have started trying to run the VA like it's a business. You know, I mean, HMO. They got to get back to the original purpose for the VA, to serve service-connected disabled veterans, veterans that has incurred an injury or disease from their military service. That's the basic nature of the VA. Now the VA is taking every veteran and making them pay co-payments. You know, I mean, so that gets in that you cannot run it like it's a business. It wasn't set up like it was a business.
So,
until they get back to it being a care center for veterans, you know, and I think it should be ran by veterans. I'm gonna tell you, every young veteran I see coming out looking for a job, I said, go to work for the VA. I said, now they ran me off, but you might be able to stay there. But you know, we need veterans working at the VA, you know, so that they can have the sensitivity and the knowledge that they need to make sure that when they get new veterans coming in there, they know where to go to get their file.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, I know how to get veterans file. You know, we need to make sure that we're doing that. And that
So
comes down to how we gonna vote.
let's talk a little bit about what you educating veterans and their families of our entitlements and what we've earned, how to navigate the system, uh, including it being an educated voter participating in that process.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, today. Look at that.
yes.
Voting. Pastor
See,
McGhee,
So
do you see? Then I want to ask the question. Do you see an increase of certified uh, VSOs in Georgia? Or do you see a plateau?
well,
I don't
from
think
my
he.
point of view, I it was good news to hear from Veda that there is uh, there's a way for Georgia Department of Veteran Services to help. I don't see an increase in other organizations, the DAV, the American Legion, or the VFW, because it's those organizations, including mine, it's we don't charge veterans,
No,
and there's actually a limit as to how much time people have to volunteer, how much time they have to develop their skills and put in the hours. So I think that's an issue.
See, one of the things that I like about the younger generation of veterans now, although I'm not all that happy about these agencies setting up, they are setting up more veterans entities to help veterans. You know, so there's a sensitivity. Now, yeah, you're gonna get more crooks in the part of it. I'm more worried about the crooks at VA than I am worried about the small number of individuals out here that's trying to scam veterans. You know, you're gonna have people trying to scam you anyway. What we need to make sure of, the VA used to be an entity that was partnering with organizations like Vietnam Veterans America, American Legion, to make sure that veterans got their benefits. But now it seems almost like it's an adversary to the claim process. You know, they done made it so technical and so bureaucratic that you're getting claims denied because of processes. You know, because they missed one form, they got the wrong form, and the VA won't tell them that they got the wrong form. They just send the claim back to them and tell them that they got to start over. So you know that's a frustration. So a lot of veterans are walking away from the VA effort. You know, they're just saying, "Hey man, I don't want to deal with it. It ain't all that. It ain't all that. I can make money outside of that." Not thinking about the health care issue that we're gonna have as we get older. You know, we might not need the Veteran Administration as younger veterans, but as we get older, we're going to need the VA medical centers. We're going to need them. And they should be there for us in a way that don't frustrate our families. And, you know, because all the time I see families going to VA with their loved ones and they coming out frustrated because they're not getting the care that they needed, because the staffing has been privatized in a lot of senses. You know, you're getting a lot of people coming to work for the VA that's looking at it just as a job. It's not something, it's not a passion to help veterans left there at the VA across the nation.
Reverend McGhee, one quick point is what Anthony pointed out earlier is it's, and we always talk about the culture of the organization, and people get they get their information sent back, they get turned around and frustrated, and what it has happened in the past is veterans and their family, they just drop the ball, they don't pursue it at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's an issue we're dealing with. And the main solution is one of the solutions is communication, like you were saying earlier, is veterans talk to veterans, family members talk to family members.
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's the only way. And then with events, I hate to miss your event tomorrow. I might try to come through on my way to my monthly membership meeting. What time you guys gonna be at Fort Mac?
11, we'll be there from 11 to 3. We'll
Okay, I gotta be. My meeting started at 1 o'clock, so I might be able to just stop through to show support. But I got my monthly membership meeting tomorrow, so I won't be able to stay if I get through that.
Well, we'll be glad to have you come through. You can also, if you have any literature about our project,
Yeah, I'll
you're
bring
welcome
some
to
of that.
bring that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yep.
Now, yeah, I do
So,
that
any
because
other hot
we're having
projects
our
out there?
first. We're having our first fundraiser, Herman, which is an evening under the stars with the Sons of Atlanta. Now, this event is being hosted, and it was her idea of one of our honorees' sisters. You know, her brother was killed, and she has been a person that been doing memorial for her brother, I know, for 15, 20 years. And so this will be on her property. She'll be doing this fundraiser for the Sons of Atlanta. So that will be on the 26th of this month, and it'll be from 7 to, excuse me. I'm in the
While
middle
he's doing that, Herman,
of the claim.
there's so many things
claim
going on
process right
this
now
Military
that's really
Appreciation Month
disturbing.
that we need to
It's
make
really
sure that we
disturbing.
can
So
continue
we
about
need
that.
to, and Herman, I want to just reach out to your group also. I'm staging a meeting with Senator Ossoff, and this meeting is to make a complaint against the benefit administration.
Okay.
I'm mute. We're reaching out to Senator Ossoff, so I got about 5 people that's really been mishandled at the Atlanta VA Benefits Administration. So what we're doing, we're calling the senator in and showing the pattern of abuse of veteran benefits. You know, it's a pattern of abuse because these people are seeing easy ways to deny a claim, and you take it up to the Board of Appeals. They turn it, they reverse it. But sometimes I had a guy die while his appeal was in the process. You know,
Why?
That's disturbing. You know,
That's disturbing.
That's just too much. That's just too much. So
That's
we are
very
asking the senator to get an investigation of the Atlanta VA Benefits Administration now, not just the hospital, the Benefits Administration, because see these DICs, it's taking too long for them to get their benefits cleared. I had a lady we just got her benefits cleared. Her husband died in 2020. And another one, her husband died in 2021, we got the case remanded back to the VA in July of last year. Do you think that they have did her claim? You know, so we got to put our advocacy to work with our vote. You know, the senators are down to help us. If we hadn't had senators or veterans that stepped to senators, we wouldn't have got the vet center. We wouldn't have got PTSD. We wouldn't have got Agent Orange. So veterans got to stop being laid back now, and let's start being a little bit more assertive to the people that we elect that could legislate the changes that we need to see.
Correct.
Oh, that's great, and that my organization will communicate with you and work with you on that. And we're running out of time. You have any updates on the memorial? Are you good with that?
Well, actually, we are moving forward with the construction. The RFP is out in the community right now. So once we get a vendor, then we would do a groundbreaking. You know, and the vendor will probably come sometime in July. You know, we're gonna know who has the contract. We will know who had the contract to build a memorial probably in July. So once we get that, we'll have a groundbreaking, and then we'll start the dedication, building the dedication for Veterans Day.
A long time coming. So it's just a lot of success to you in that. But we've had two great guests to talk about one key thing. Your voice has power. Your voice has power.
Yes.
So we as veterans need to make sure that we continue to speak up. As Pastor McGhee talked about,
Yes.
Hey, prior to people getting involved in sharing their voice, we didn't have PTSD. We didn't have Agent Orange. We didn't have a lot of things that were out there. So there's individuals like himself and others that continue to advocate for those that serve. All three of us have served. And we've earned the right to be compensated and have benefits for our families. So I applaud you what you do. And Herman, it's almost closed out time. Let me close us out here real quick. I just want to say that this has been a powerful show, and none of this would have been possible without the thought and guidance of our leader, Penny Rogers, and Ms. Greer, our productions leader there, to make sure that we look good, sound good, and be good for our listeners around the world. So I want to say thank you to them, but I also want to say thanks to our guests for what they've stated today. So we continue to put voice and truth into the community, and baby, that's good. It's a great show.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Reverend McGhee. Thank Veda. She's gone. We had two great guests, all in a timely manner. We hit issues that are on time, update. So we had a good Friday.
Good Friday, man. Enjoy.
So we're gonna call with that. We're gonna close for Veterans Day for May the 3rd. We have during this season, we have one more. That's May the 18th, and we ask everybody to join us. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.